You know, if we're honest with ourselves, most people think leadership is about the corner office, the title on a business card, or the applause that follows a well delivered speech. But the quiet truth, the one that doesn't make headlines, is that leadership has never been about status. It's about responsibility. It's about the moments when no one is watching, and yet you have to make the call that weighs heavier than any approval rating or public cheer. It's about choosing the difficult path, not the easy one, when the world is divided and the consequences are real. Leadership is, at its core, a moral contract, a promise to place the common good above personal gain, to listen before speaking, and to serve before being served. And the question that haunts me as I think about our shared journey is this: how often do we, as a society, recognize the leaders who lead quietly, faithfully, without fanfare, yet with the courage to confront the hard truths? When I reflect on the history of leadership, it's clear that the greatest tests come during crisis. Around 2008 and the years that followed, the world seemed caught between hope and uncertainty. Institutions faltered under political pressure, economies trembled, and communities wrestled with divisions that had long been simmering beneath the surface. And yet, in those moments, leadership emerged not from title or hierarchy, but from service, empathy, and a steady hand willing to navigate the storm. The leaders who endured, who made decisions for the long arc rather than the short term, showed us that the essence of leadership is not command, it's guidance, not authority, it's responsibility. Across cultures and generations, the pattern is the same. When the pressures mount, the courage to prioritize people over politics, morality over convenience, defines who we truly are as a society. I think about my own path. Growing up between worlds, between the quiet streets of Honolulu and the bustling neighborhoods of Chicago, I learned early that leadership isn't conferred, it's earned. When I was organizing in Chicago, knocking on doors in communities many had written off, I saw ordinary people step into extraordinary roles. Mothers advocating for better schools, neighbors coming together to keep youth safe, volunteers giving their time without expectation of recognition. These were the real leaders. And when I walked into the Oval Office, the lessons didn't stop. I learned quickly that every decision, big or small, carries weight. Sometimes it's measured in policy or budgets, other times in the quiet lives of people who may never know your name, but whose futures are shaped by your choices. Leadership demanded humility, patience, and the courage to act even when the outcome was uncertain. And yes, there were moments of doubt when the noise of division threatened to drown out reason and empathy, but those were the moments that tested character, not titles. And here's what that teaches us about the human story. Leadership reveals both our potential and our contradictions. We are capable of incredible compassion, and yet we are easily swayed by fear. Leadership calls on us to bridge that gap, to take the long view when the short term is tempting, to weigh unity against personal ambition, to hold power with restraint. Democracy itself is fragile yet resilient because it depends on people who choose responsibility over applause. True leadership is paradoxical. It is at once quiet and profound, demanding courage in the face of uncertainty and humility in moments of triumph. It is the understanding that progress is not linear, that setbacks are inevitable, and that the arc of history bends toward justice not by accident, but by the deliberate choices of those willing to serve. And in that tension between hope and realism, between comfort and challenge, we discover the meaning of moral responsibility not just for ourselves, but for the generations that follow. So when I reflect on leadership today, I am reminded that it is a journey, not a destination. It is measured not by accolades, but by the lives touched and the trust earned. The true test is whether we inspire others to step up, to act with integrity, and to carry forward the work that cannot be completed by one person alone. It is in the patient, persistent effort to build community, to repair divisions, and to uphold the values that make democracy possible. And as we consider the leaders in our lives, in our families, in our communities, I am left with these questions. Are we willing to embrace responsibility over recognition? Do we have the courage to act for the collective good, even when it is inconvenient? And, perhaps most importantly, how will we answer the quiet call to lead when no one is watching, yet the world depends on us todos?